know that water has memory? Have you ever thought that water would truly reflect your emotions? What are the secrets hidden in a simple glass of water? In 1988, the French immunologist Jacques Benveniste published his research report about the memory of water. He pointed out that water has memory that cannot be diluted. He further discovered that when drugs were diluted down to a density close to pure water and used to treat patients, they still maintained the same curative effect. This argument about the memory of water was not widely accepted at the time. As such, Jacques Benveniste even lost his research funding. After 20 years, in 2008, the joint recipient of the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine, French virologist Professor Luc-Antoine Montagnier, supported Benveniste's argument in his research report. He demonstrated in his experiment that the water molecule in the liquid that contained HIV DNA could emit a particular type of electromagnetic signal. This signal can be duplicated in the liquid that does not contain HIV DNA. This has again proven that water has memory. We can further infer, if water has memory, water that has existed for 4.5 billion years, covering 70% of the Earth, can surpass time and space to record vast amounts of messages from the universe. Is this possible? The German quantum physicist Dr. Max Planck once said, "I can tell you, as a result of my research about atoms this much, there is no matter as such. The mind is the matrix of all matter." He claimed that the universe is like an invisible electromagnetic web, and all matter on this web, including water, can receive energy vibration of human thoughts. This is the power of the mind. Scientists have conducted numerous experiments on the connection between the mind and the physical environment. In the research report published in the Advances Journal in 1993, the scientists from the American military first took DNA and tissue samples from the subject's mouth. These samples were then moved to another room in the same building. Even if the subject and samples were not in the same place, the emotional changes of the subject could still affect the DNA in tightening and relaxing its shapes. The scientists then took the DNA to another place, which was 480 kilometers away from the subject. The result of the experiment was still consistent. The reaction of the DNA seemed to be connected with the human body in some way. This confirms that DNA can be affected by human emotions without being limited by time and distance. On the other hand, Russian quantum biologists Vladimir Popotin and Peter Garyaev also did an experiment. He placed photons, which are basic particles to make up this world, randomly in a test tube, and he put a human DNA sample in the same tube. As a result, the photons in the test tube were no longer scattered randomly. Instead, they exhibited an orderly arrangement following the insertion of the DNA sample. If we combine the conclusions from these three independent and interesting experiments, we will find that these three experiments were telling us the same thing. There's a kind of power in our body that is not limited by the laws of physics. Namely, human emotions can affect DNA, and DNA can affect the photons that make up the world. This also confirms all matter is one entity, one life entity. In other words, our mind has a direct influence on this world. Following the footsteps of pioneers in science, the methodology of Dr. Masaru Emoto's water experiments in Japan, Huaiyan Laboratory began its water experiments in 2010, based on the assumption that water has memory. Huayan Laboratory has since conducted over 400,000 water experiments and made the related comparisons and analyses. It has also regularly updated its facilities and adopted more suitable methodologies for its water experiments. The water experiments are carefully set up by placing the original distilled water in a soundproofed confined room, which is not affected by the outside world. The experiments are arranged to put the sample water in contact with different thoughts and feelings associated with photos, words, images, sounds, smells, and complex human emotions. We have discovered many amazing findings regarding the connection between the human mind and water in the past 9 years. When water gets in touch with photos and words showing various thoughts and feelings, what would the water crystals tell us? The innocent smile of a child, may the water crystal smile as well. Upon seeing the skinny child, the water crystals seem to feel the suffering from the child from natural disasters and wars. With a praise for others, the water crystal expressed great joy. Strong jealousy caused the water crystal to break into ugly pieces. What if water gets in touch with music? Would it dance with the music as well? A song full of compassion, may the water crystal show beautiful glory of humanity. With a brisk wedding melody, the water crystal conveyed the feeling of happiness of the newlyweds. How does the water perform with the same sense of smell? The water crystal truthfully reflected the gorgeous colors and fragrance of the beautiful red roses. The water crystal felt the contamination of nicotine with the odor of a burning cigarette. What if water gets in touch with an object? If we immerse an object in the water, what are the changes in the water crystals? The appearance of a sweet apple, and the shape of delicious grapes. Are faithfully reflected by the water crystals. The water crystal showed the shape of a starfruit perfectly. The center of the water crystal resembled the bud of a sunflower. The beautiful sunflower embraced water, and the water crystal also bloomed. The prior experiments have confirmed that water has memory. Can water truly reflect the complex emotions of animals and humans? This is a ceremony for mothers to pray and to show their repentance for their abortion. Their regrets deeply buried inside their hearts, may the water crystal show an image of a crying mother. Distorted water crystals seem to feel the fear and despair of the chickens being slaughtered. The shape of a chicken appeared in the center of the water crystal. A shape resembling chicken's feet appeared in the water crystal. Our experiments indicated that not only is water able to record humans' complex emotions, but water is also able to reflect touching moments. The power of a mother's love is shown in the mother frog's great efforts to kick loose the dirt, regardless to let the trapped tadpole swim back into the water. The water crystals seemed to feel the worried eyes of the mother frog. The water crystals showed that it is always safe and cozy to be in the mother's arms. Chen Xingyan accidentally touched high-voltage electricity when he was a child. Both of his hands had to be amputated as a result. Although he lost both hands and his family was poor, he was still able to shoulder his daily chores to look after his mother. His touching act of loving and caring for his mother made the water crystal radiate with the glory of humanity. The beautiful water crystal remarkably reflected a feeding spoon with a loving heart. The water crystal showed the image of a hard-working filial son, Chen Xingyan. Since our mind can affect the water crystals and the DNA in our cells, can our mind change the conditions in our body